All right, guys, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be going over a 2-month account progress update. Last video I made was around March 15th. Currently it's May 20th, so slightly over 2 months. I'm going to be going over any changes in commanders. I do have a new March, if you didn't know, Siege, VIP level, rate of VIP gains since I joined 2268, all kinds of stuff like that. All right, so first one, we are currently in KVK, right? Kinsland hasn't opened. It's going to be opening in 2 days. And so far, we've had about 12 days of fighting. It's not a lot of fighting. It could be worse, but also could be a lot more. So far, most of the fighting has not been open field just because our opponent decided to go very defensive, dropping fort walls. So besides when we were very aggressive with fort drops, and then they were forced to come to us, for the most part, it's kind of fighting on their territory, a lot of getting cheeseburgered. There hasn't been too much open fielding. Now, having said that, I've never had played against an opponent that at least resisted or fought against us for more than like 3 days. So this is definitely more fighting than I have ever gotten in the past. But I don't have a good garrison commander, so during the aggressive fort drops, a lot of the higher power or more advanced players in our KVK were like random teleporting. I was scared to do that because I know I would get swarmed and zeroed. So currently I'm at 903 million kill points. And you can see for the deads, for the main, I have 317,000. That just comes from a little bit of garrisoning or like swarming cities, but we were told to save our power for Kinsland. So most of my deads so far has actually come from my main farm. I have a little over 1 million deads, you can see on there. For resources, I have about 70% remaining from when I started with. You can see 6.6 billion food, 6.9 billion wood. I'm not going to read all of that, but to determine that, right, you can see on the right, the screenshot. If you haven't heard, Cubus Mike's does a really good job of creating like a calculator where you can take a screenshot of what you have and it'll calculate for you. And then actually will show you the report manager on the next page, which is really awesome. As far as the speeds, I have 1,508 days of speeds left right now, as far as healing and universal combined. And that's about 80%, a little over 80% of what I started with. So as far as resources and speeds, I'm on track to exceed what my goal starting out was 2 bill KP, this is KVK. It would actually double my KP from 2 bill to about 4 bill. Depending on how much fighting we have Kinsland, I think I'm still on track to hitting that. Do I wish my KP right now was a little higher? Yes, but it's probably the best I could have done given the circumstances. So this one is actually a screenshot of the reports manager. You can see my KP ratio is 2.24 overall. KP ratio, in case you guys didn't know, right? If you kill a T4 unit, it's 10 points, whereas if you kill a T5 unit, it's 20 points. So up until I had full special medicine, which reduces healing cost of T5, I was running all T4s, well, as much as I could, with a little bit of T5 mixed in. So that's why you can see the kill ratio and KP ratio is different. Kill ratio is just how many troops sev wounds you took versus how many sev wounds you dealt, right? So overall, kill ratio is 1.67, but KP ratio is 2.24. From there, you can see the marches. Luce Alex is by far my best march in this KVK. The KP ratio is 3.46. Even the kill ratio is over 3, right? Whereas you can see the other ones, they kind of fall behind. We are in a stratagems KVK, so you could put an artifact, and I converted YSG to a secondary cav. So I'm actually running YSG, Joan YSG, and then Nevsky William. My worst performing march so far is actually the Siege, right? The KP ratio is 1.31, and the kill ratio is 0.79. Now, having said that, the commanders both aren't maxed. Also, the equipment is the worst. So that's kind of to be expected. Also, with the nature of how we're fighting, I just have an open field a lot, and especially deep into the enemy territory. It's definitely really, really fun to use. And, you know, we didn't have an ultra fight, and we're not playing defensively where I can actually camp it somewhere. So overall, this is a report manager, and you could kind of see how like I trade and everything else. As far as a VIP, the top screenshot was actually from my last account update video, and then the bottom one was from when I took a screenshot of where my VIP is at now. So before I moved to 2268, in the 69 days before I migrated there, because I made a account update video 69 days before that, I think I said that backwards. So I made an account update video 96 days before my last account update video, and I gained 460,240 points. So in total, it averaged out to about 4,794 VIP per day. Since I migrated to 2268, that number jumped up to 7,682 VIP points per day. So it's about a 60% increase in VIP points per day. It's the nature of just what happens when you're in a higher spending kingdom. Also, I'm not gonna lie, being in this kingdom, I think I probably have up my spending. So I don't know if it's fair. It just naturally happened, or maybe it's just because of the YouTube thing. All right. Next, let's go over my. I do have 7 marches now. So the first one, the Infantry one, I'm like I showed earlier. I'm running Luce Alex Max. The biggest upgrade here is I actually crafted the Greatest Glory. So Greatest Glory increases the normal attack damage by 5%. On a smite damage commander, that essentially turns into all damage, right? Because you get the normal damage boost, but then the smite damage also gets boosted from it. Also, the helm I upgraded to Awaken 2. Chest I upgraded from 1 to 3. And then it says I lost the horn. I just moved the horn to another march. Also, you can see there is an improvement in armaments. So at this point, just to kind of summarize what I'm looking for armaments, I want relevant stats, right? So you can see in the top, I have Cav health that I got rid of, but also probably more importantly, even though the OCD lacks just relevant stats, but how many inscriptions, how many good inscriptions you have really determines how good your armaments are. So I did actually get 1 more inscription, and I also have it's just better, right? So this is my Infantry 1 march. Infantry 2 march, the good old Kuang Scipio. The upgrade here is I put an iconic crystal on the shield. If anything, right now, a bottleneck for me is just iconic crystals, right? You get 5 per KVK. I just need to get in more KVK so I can actually put iconics on my legendary equipment. Move the horn over to this one. Also, you can see the armament was an upgrade. I also gained another inscription, right? I lost some stats, gained some stats, but overall the armament's a little bit better. My first Cav march, now if it wasn't in a stratagems KVK, I would be running Nev Jones, so that's why I put it here. You can see I finally got a Pride of the Khan, so I had a set Cav helm that I was running for a while. I moved down to Nev Jones. I don't even have an iconic crystal for it yet. After this KVK is over, I should get 3 more, but that's probably the biggest upgrade. And then I did put a ring on this march, so now I have at least 3 sets of legendary accessory for my top 3 marches, which I'll make a video about later. I think it's really important, even if you have like say 5 or 6 or 7 marches, you want to be able to have at least 3 marches where the equipment is like a tier above, just because when you start running out of resources or speeds, or sometimes you're at a disadvantage, you want to be able to bring out less marches, less higher quality marches. And so I think it's really important to have at least 3 sets of legendary accessories, which I now have. You can see there's a huge upgrade in the armaments here, right? So the stats actually were a lot more before, and they look good, but I only had 2 inscriptions. Whereas now I actually have a special inscription and a rare inscription. I have 4 inscriptions instead of 2. So it's actually a really, really big improvement in armaments from my first Cav march. Cavalry 2, if I was running a normal KVK, I'll be running Mina William. Mina, I think Double Relic is very underrated. This march actually trades surprisingly well. And you can see I was able to finally get rid of that blue helm, and I was able to put a legendary set helm on this march. And then there was also a pretty big upgrade as far as the armaments. I was able to get one more inscription, and also upgrade the stats. For the first archer march, I was able to upgrade the legs from Awaken 1 to 2, boots to Awaken 4, which I get the extra march speed. And you can see there's some slight changes in the armaments where I was able to get 1 more rare inscription on there. And then my Archer 2 march is probably my weakest one. So right now, if I had to, I would probably run Boudica YSG, or I would have to mix and match, maybe run ZL Boudica and then Herman YSG. And you see the equipment pretty much stay the same. I just moved some armaments around, but I had a very, very big upgrade as far as the armaments, right? This is probably the biggest improvement in armaments out of all my armament sets. So far in this KVK, because I was running a Joan YSG, I actually, for my second Archer March, I would run Henry Boudica. And I would alternate or switch between either Henry Boudica or my Siege March, depending on the situation. Because so far I've only been running 6 marches. And if I was going to run 7 marches, I would probably do the Boudica YSG or Herman YSG, some combination of that. And then finally, my newest march is my range march. You can see Margaret's at 5511, Cordoba's at 5525. I started with him at 5511. I don't think at this level, 5511 for both commander is good enough if you want to open field with it. If you just want to camp it up in a good place where it just gets free shots, sure. But when you have to move around, you do need a little bit better equipment, better armaments, and better commanders. So right now, this is still a work in progress, but honestly, Siege is really fun when you're using in conjunction with field marches, and I'm seeing more and more of it on the field. So I think, you know, for all the Siege haters, at some point they could still hold on to that hate, or they're probably going to be converted. Finally, this is all 7 of my marches on one screen. You can see the equipment, the armaments. If I had to say where my bottleneck is, I mentioned it earlier, is iconic, but really I am more limited by materials right now, right? So for the most part, my armaments are done. I'm just waiting to pull some more special inscriptions. Hopefully we'll win this KVK, I get a hunter. And then really it's just getting iconics, and then probably just crafting accessories until I have accessories for all 7 marches. And then I'm gonna go back and fill in the rest of the equipment. It's just going to take time, right? I'm quote unquote considered still a younger player or a newer player, but it's getting there. So if you watch all the way to the end and you like the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. Tune in for our KV Kinsland, which should start in a day or 2. That should be fun. Hopefully we at least get 2 full days of fighting. My goal is to get over 2 bill. You know, I have enough resources to get over 3, maybe like 3.5, but I just don't know we'll have enough fighting. So we get that, hopefully I can make a video about it. Again, thank you for watching, and hope you guys have a good day.